There can be only one podcast, and may it be the Prince of the Universe. Hi, folks. I'm Matt.
And I'm Wes.
And I'm Brandon.
Oh, welcome back.
Thank you.
This was a podcast we were supposed to do a couple weeks ago, but Brandon got too busy for us. But as chivalry would go with Wes, he said we cannot do this one without Brando. So we got to do different topics, which we did.
I can carry some boring topics, but I can't carry this.
Really?
Wow.
I don't know, because Mr. Futch was pretty good in our one about drinks.
Yeah, I thought your
Coffees
joke,
and teas.
Your joke about headlining the library was pretty funny. So good job.
So there you go.
It was up there with the Dewey Decimal System as far as boring.
Thank you. Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But anyway, so moving on, there's a movie that came out in theaters about a month or so ago
Yeah.
called Rad. You had told us about it even before this. You said you were bragging of the fact that
Yeah.
you have an original VHS copy
That's
of the
correct.
1986 BMX bike movie.
Thriller.
Thriller.
Action packed.
Thriller in Manila. And we were shocked to see this was coming out in theaters.
Very.
Because it's not really. I had never seen it prior to you saying anything about it. I've never seen it,
man.
never even heard of it before. Had you seen or heard of it?
I had heard of it, but had
Okay.
never seen it.
Okay. So you told me something earlier that when y'all had gone to the theater, what was the theater like, Wes?
The theater was full of humans for this movie, and it was a lot of like guys in there with their kids, and like date night.
Now, you had told me, because we've been to a lot of these re-release movies, Big Lebowski, I want to say Ninja Turtles, and all these other ones. Yeah,
Yeah.
we've been to several.
Yep.
And you said this was the biggest crowd you had seen for one of these re-release movies.
Yeah, I mean, when we saw Labyrinth recently, that was pretty busy, but this was equally that way, if not more.
If not more. Yeah, Labyrinth was pretty populated. The excuse me, the biggest one I've ever seen in re-releases, Gone with the Wind. Megan wanted to see it, so we went to see it, and it was like jammed packed. I mean, jam-packed. This is back before you did seating, and we were struggling to find a seat on the wall instead of getting one on the base floor. I was like, this is insane.
Wow.
So Gone with the Wind was the biggest one I've ever seen before then, but it's nice. And I saw you at the Home Depot
Yep.
last week, and you had said that you felt a little bit of vindication with all those people being there in the theater, like, I'm not alone.
I mean, I kind of felt pretty good, man.
I'm among my people now.
Yeah, I felt like I finally made it home.
Gonzo found his home.
I was so shocked.
You really were. His face
I was so
was
puzzled.
amazing.
I was just
Yeah.
looking around and could not believe it. I felt like such a boomer that something was happening that I had no idea.
And I'll be honest, that the families are bringing their kids. I've never seen that in a lot of our movies we've watched. I didn't see that for
place-
Empire Strikes Back.
Right.
It was impressive. It was impressive how packed it was. So much so that I think during the movie, Wes may have said 6 or 8 times, "Man, this place is packed." He said it constantly. It really was.
Wow, so you were able to take your eyes off the screen every once in a
Barely.
while.
I don't want to take your joy.
So
That was a good impression.
Thank you.
So, Rad is the store is the I want to say quintessential '80s formula. It's the formula.
Right.
It's the guy who wants to be someone popular, and there is a line. There's a few lines in there, but one of my favorites, "Mom, the only thing I'm good at is biking, and that's what I do. I ride my bike." And it seems like there's like this, John Williams score going on behind him, and it's not satire. He's really saying this to Adrian. And I'm like, what the heck am I watching?
Adrian is the mom.
The mom.
I was
Yeah,
totally
It's
blown
crazy.
away.
Yeah, I didn't remember that until I remember it during the movie. I leaned over and I was like, I did not remember that she was in this movie.
Yeah. So she's the mom, and
That's where she got her start.
That's not where she got her
Well,
start.
Rocky may have been the start, but-
She's hot off Rocky at this point. Rocky 4
Three?
has oh
I think Rocky 3 had been out.
Rocky 3 came out in 83, didn't it, or something like
Yeah.
that? Right, 84. So yeah, maybe right. And on her way to making Rocky 4. If Rocky 4 wasn't the same time as this, it was soon after.
She must have owed somebody a favor in Hollywood because you
Dude.
would think she.
No.
So the
she
guy
saw the script and she knew this was gold.
the guy on the bike meets the girl who's the professional, who's just there to, I don't know, sell bikes, model. She's not there to race, but she's good too. And of course, they're gonna fall in love together. They're gonna have, the little love scene, but I mean the little
Slide.
date scene,
Yep,
date scene.
yep, date
But
scene.
instead of going to the arcade like in Karate Kid, having wholesome moments on the go-karts, the pinball
Right.
machines, stuff that you can see yourself doing with a girl and say, that's exactly what it was like to fall in love on a date in the 80s, right?
Correct.
That'd be the perfect setup. At the arcade is where you were at. It wasn't
Yeah.
silly. That's where you went. That was one of the coolest places. But another cool place that no one remembers from 1986 was the old log water slide where you go down fully clothed into a river. Not a pool, but a river. And then you laugh, you're soaked, and you do it again. Or you're standing out looking over the river, and for some unexplained reason, she picks up a giant rock and throws it behind you. Now, it misses you, but it makes a splash, and you go, hey, come here. And it's the chase scene.
Man.
They run to chase her, and then he grabs her, and then they laugh, and they stay there, still on one of the rocks in the river, looking up and going, isn't it beautiful?
My takeaway from that scene was how dry her hair was.
That is true. That's a good
after
point.
getting done. Yeah, this is right after the and this is like
a good point.
this is what they were doing, running through the forest together, sliding down a log slide. I'm like,
Yeah.
was there no arcade you could film in? No, because that costs money.
Well, and if you notice when they are talking, you can see their breath. It's
cold.
freezing.
It's cold there.
So there's no telling how cold that water was.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
and they're
absolutely.
soaked. I mean,
Oh,
they
yeah.
go in all the way, but they're going in fully clothed. I mean,
Yeah.
blue jeans, sweaters, and everything. That's the thing. They're wearing a sweater too.
Yeah.
Giving them actors and actresses hypothermia, but it's okay because someone in Hollywood said, "What do the kids like these days?" And someone said, "They like BMX bikes." Really? Yes, they do. Okay, well, let's make a movie.
Well, your
about
voices kind of
BMX.
sound like them at the meet at the beginning when they're in the school auditorium. It's they kind of give off the Footloose vibe of we're not going to do this in a small town.
With the mayor.
Yeah. Yes. It's got a. That's the thing. It borrows from every movie you've ever seen before. With Karate Kid, instead of the kid running away from which in Karate Kid it's just awesome when he plays the prank on the Cobra Kai and then he has to run and they're in their skeleton gear. That's just great. That's a great scene. That's a great moment etched in your mind. There's nothing. There just seems nothing silly about that. Even when Mr. Miyagi comes in and karate chops them all, it's all believable because
Jumps
they're
a
kids.
10-foot, cyclone fence. It's
It's fine. It's fine.
Around. That's what he
But
does.
how do we replicate this? There's a policeman on a motorbike,
Yeah, oh, yeah.
and they go, "Here he comes," and they exit the back of their little hidey hole
Clubhouse.
that they're in clubhouse, and then go, "Hey, you big dummy, here we are!" And so he gets on his motorbike and chases them. They are pedaling on bicycles. He is on a police motorbike, and for some reason, they can outwit him at every turn. They can get away from him. They go to this place where there's stacks of logs. Somehow one of the bikers on top of the logs and he waves at him. He's like, "I'm up here, you big dummy," or whatnot. He's like, "Oh." And so then he's following him along, but he can't figure out how he's going to get down. And then he does. And he gets out from under this little barbed wire fence. It doesn't seem much.
Yep.
And they escape on the highway. Remember, they're on pedal bikes. He is on a motorbike, highway patrol bike. And then as they're biking away, they do the little salute. Like they got away from him again. He just points like, "Yep.
Those darn kids.
Those darn kids will get you again." And here he comes again
Yep.
in the middle of town, and we can outrace him. Doesn't and then he gets up and says later on, because he's the one that convinces the town to pool their money together to save these kids or give them a chance. He went, "You gotta give these kids a chance." What? What was the whole purpose of that dude?
Well, so
I was laughing the whole time
I
because
think
I
it's the
don't.
development of a character.
yeah, so here I'll tell you this. When I first
Quick.
watched it, for the longest time, I thought the motorcycle cop.
you think he's just
I thought he was a
messing with
bad-
them?
No, I thought he was a bad guy. I thought it was, bad guy.
Well,
meaning I
he's
thought he was-
acted like that. He's
Yeah.
the Elmer Fudd, and
Right.
they're all the Bugs Bunnies trying to get away from him.
as I watched it when we saw it a month or so ago. I was like, wait a minute. it clicked it from then. I was just like, oh my gosh, this dude's not bad.
He's just playing with them?
Yeah, he's just playing. He pulls up and
He's making
revs
them
the
feel
bike
big.
up. Yeah, that's it. He's bored. Man, small town. He's bored. He's looking for something to do. But how about the way that Crew rode his bike over those logs and it was smooth as glass?
Oh yeah, I mean,
That's my favorite part.
Because
I
you
do
know
like that about
what?
the
When I
logs.
think of where I want to go on my BMX bike, it's over a bunch of wooden logs.
If you ride over a root,
Because
you're
you can
gonna
do
fall
that
over.
super easy, and you're never tired. They never tire down. They just go full blast.
He's full on.
Remember, because they cross this big open field to get to the
yeah.
lumber yard
Yeah.
first, and then they're biking away to the. Goodness gracious! Forget
Yeah.
going to the hell track is what
Yeah.
they're going. Forget
Yeah.
the hell track.
Yep.
You know, do an Ironman match. You kids could come in first.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Preposterous.
But no. Sorry, an interrupted break there. I don't know what happened. But anyway, it was preposterous is the dance scene on the bikes.
That's romance.
So there's an actual dance going on.
And there's a lot of editing that
And then suddenly he comes in on his BMX bike and
Yes.
everyone's
There's
okay
a
with it
lot
on the dance
happening.
floor.
There's a lot happening before he gets there.
And then his love interest is also coming in on the BMX bike,
Yeah.
and they do a BMX bike duet dance where everyone clears the floor and applauds like it's a dance off. But it's
yeah. At this
Two
point, they had
people-
never hung out together, really. At
no.
that point,
They
were
didn't
just-
even know. She didn't even know who he
Right,
was. Like
just everything.
Cinderella, he
Yeah.
left.
Right.
She's like, wait, and he bikes away.
this is not couple skating. This is couple biking.
biking. And so what we noticed in the movie, never knew, Crew's got a sequence shirt on in the scene. Never again in the whole entire movie. But he has like rhinestones put all through, like diamond studs all over his gear. So does she.
I'm glad you mentioned that. Yes.
Oh, did you
Because they're
notice that?
wardrobes.
They were so good.
That okay, here's the difference, okay? You look at and I kept comparing and contrasting. It was a specimen to behold, let me just tell you this. But it was written by people obviously who had no idea what kids do, wear, or think, or talk, or say. And where Karate Kid, again, the mom pushing the car to start it off, the rich parents and kind of that scene you can connect with, you know it. The clothes they wore, his clothes were always kind of just normie and stuff. Hers were the nice sweater, the preppy sweater, the
Normie.
the
I love it.
the preppy sweater, she was wearing the classy stuff, the chic stuff, but they didn't lay it on too much that she's super rich and whatnot.
You almost went William Shatner right there.
Oh well, yeah, maybe so. But you know what I mean. But even down to what they wore, like his mom is always in the onesie dress that you could imagine. My mom wore those dresses back in the day. Like when you're watching this, like, yeah, we drove a car like that.
Sure.
My mom wore dresses
Very-
like that.
it was
I wore clothes.
relatable.
Everything on every level, though. The scenery, the friendships, the whatever. Even at the beach playing soccer. That's one of the things you do. Camp around. That's fine.
Yeah.
But in this one, they're like, okay, what would they wear? Rhinestones.
Yes.
Because that's what kids do. No, in the
Only the
70s
boys.
when you were a kid, you wore rhinestone.
Yeah, it definitely had a Saturday Night Fever to that.
It did.
that
but it
dance.
was weird. It was
But that
so.
was 10 years later.
Came out of
it was,
nowhere.
it was 15 years past its prime, and it felt like someone who was now 40 at the time was saying, "What did I used to do when I was a kid? When
My
I was
days,
a young
yeah,
in
what
my
was my
days,
heyday? Yeah.
What was my heyday like? Well, let me write it like that. But having no idea how there's so much to talk about here. There's so much to unravel. Like Hell Track. This doesn't seem to be a very liberal town. So Hell Track, I think they maybe have
The
a
name
name with that, but they're all
alone is
cheering
like-
that Hell Track
Yes.
is here.
Yeah.
And their problem isn't with Hell Track, which is kind of a weird name to have because I don't know what was hellish about it, but he seemed like he cheated the entire race.
I remember the first few years I watched it, I just called it the track. I didn't say the hell. So I was like, track. Man, that track, right?
Okay. But the part where he has to re-motivate himself.
After they've made shirts.
No, before
Okay.
they start doing all that, he completes his route on time. This time.
Yeah.
He doesn't-
For the town folk.
He throws that newspaper exactly where the man has always wanted it. He doesn't spill someone's coffee. I guess he hit My Favorite Martian's coffee every
Yeah,
day.
oh, yeah, every day, yeah.
Every day. I mean, we only see this montage at the very beginning, where he and his friends are doing bike tricks. Oh, wait. Okay, so there's the montage. Let me go. I gotta do something else. The opening credits.
The best. I agree.
Those
Really
kids, those BMX, they got BMX bikers.
Yes.
They
Real
have
deal.
3 moves.
Bunny
And they
hopping
did
like
them
crazy.
They did them over
Yep.
and over and over again. Well, the bunny hop, the spinning the front
then-
cycle,
yep.
and then the standing on your
Yep.
bike.
Yep.
And that was all they had. And it's 5 minutes as the credits are rolling of just them doing those 3 tricks over again. Wes, when you're watching this, what are you thinking? Opening credits, go.
I believe I did look at Brandon through this and say, "Is this what this is going to be?"
Because I'm amped up is what you also put at the end of that. I'm pumped, I think.
because it was puzzling. It kind of went a long time, long in the tooth on the opener.
That was pretty insane. I won't lie.
Like I almost felt like they had to get a runtime for the movie, and they said, "We're just going to just go with this. We want as cold
Perhaps.
of an open as we can get."
Well, you can tell that it's just a static camera sitting there because sometimes they're in front of it. It's not the whole time, but there are numerous shots with the person in the background would be your focal, except the guy in the front just comes bouncing around there and just takes the whole scene out.
yeah.
I appreciate that, though.
Also, I like how the guy and the girl fall in love instantly, and now the sister is automatically best friends with the girl.
Of course, that's how
But,
it
but I don't
always
see
works.
where their friendship began or ended. I guess. Oh, did you boink my brother? Okay, we're friends now.
That little girl had a rough mouth too. She's pretty
Yeah,
rugged.
and that's the other thing.
She cussed a lot.
That was unrealistic. That felt so unlike.
Well, I felt like that they had to get a number of shits or whatever she said in, so they're like, we're
To
going
get
to
that
let her get them all
PG-13.
in, and we're going to dump them wherever we feel is best.
And cuss words were in Karate Kid too, but at the correct times.
Were they
The
really?
car dies. Damn, he's so mad and stuff, stuff like that. And there's
Yeah.
other things that he says here and there, but it's pointed. It's there when they need to
Well, the
be
novelty of
and
it
not
wore
just
off after about the third time. You're like, oh, this girl's just
This
you
kid's
know.
Yeah.
gonna end up in juvie.
Yeah. I also like how they're making the shirts. I didn't know you got black paint and just got a roller and just rolled it over
I
imprint
had
of a
no
t-shirt.
idea.
And all of a sudden, there's the shirt ready to go.
Yeah, I mean, this is pretty groundbreaking stuff for 40 years ago. No print and press. This is not T-Public. This is just
This is
where did they
Balkanville
get
engineering.
This
That's it.
many shirts, also.
Yeah. Yeah, I found it.
Good point. Where would you get that many? Back in those days, where would you just go get a couple hundred shirts
I'm
real
not
quick?
sure.
I found it interesting. To be
And
sure. So
you can't
we
wait
should
to see
say
it again.
we should say it had the cliche villain where, hey, I want to sponsor you. Okay, this kid should want to be sponsored by this bigwig that he likes, but all of a sudden he's like, no, man,
Yeah.
you're the man, and I stick it to the man.
That's-
But there's no reason why he's the bad guy at this point.
Right.
He has done nothing. Now, we know as the audience that
Yeah.
he's in with the guy going, this better make us a lot of money. So-and-so better win the big fight, because
Yep.
if he does, I'm going to make a bunch of dojos with Mike's. Oh wait, that's Karate Kid 3. I'm gonna make a bunch of bikes and sell them because he's riding my bike. And there's all this money grubbing, which that
Yeah.
makes sense. You're spending a lot of money. You want to make money. Okay, capitalism.
Mm-hmm.
But in here, they get it all wrong. For some reason, he's the bad guy. But then he does become the villain after that.
Oh, yeah.
Because then he goes, we changed the rules. You need a sponsor. Oh, the rules have changed again. You need a sponsor for $20,000, and the town raises like 10 or whatnot,
50
11,
or they change
and
it,
then
just keep raising it.
he keeps raising
Yeah.
it. But then, of course, the old man, for some reason, my favorite Martian decides
Oh, he's
to
awesome.
switch sides for no reason because he hates the kid. Remember, that's who knocks over his coffee.
That's right.
He doesn't like him. You juvenile delinquent. That's what he says. And so now he decides to front the other, and you know it's going to happen. You can see it from a mile away. But when he does, he's like, the corporation guy goes, "I'm so disappointed in you, Henry, and I'm disappointed in you, Patrick." And walks away. And,
You almost sound like Benjamin.
oh, okay. Well, I mean, I'm just saying it plays out very generic, and it's like, wow, they need.
See,
Again,
I
they're
saw
trying to
cliffhangers
follow-
the whole time. All I felt were cliffhangers the entire time I watched it.
Did he watch the movie with
Let
you?
him
Every
get it
one
out
of
of his
them.
system.
No,
okay.
Go.
No,
go.
I just okay. Did you notice when Christian, which is Lori Law, they're doing their dance? Did you?
Oh,
Notice
I noticed
when,
the dance.
The guy Like the guy took the plate. I didn't realize till I saw the guy's hands. It was supposed to be her doing her bicycle moves, and there's a straight up stunt dude in there. I didn't notice that until we saw it. I told him, I said, that's a dude right there.
And
I
she
can't
never
believe
even
this.
rides her bike. She
Never.
only show her pushing it.
Yeah, never on it, never pedaling it. I don't
It's
remember
a
seeing
stunt
it.
double the whole time.
Yeah, I think so.
I believe that.
yeah.
I believe that. I don't think that girl knew how to ride a bike.
Probably not.
And
But
the
I'll tell you
stunt
one thing.
double's name was Jonathan.
Did you look at the credits?
No, I'm just saying it was a dude.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, really?
Oh, no.
Man, you
Did
really
she
have
have-
some deep information.
Did she have a
on this.
package? Is there something else with this story?
Oh, she's okay. There.
Wow, that's ahead of its time there.
Yeah.
Okay, so the ending.
Oh, can I just had to, please, I have to get this out. I got to ask.
Oh no, please.
Okay.
I'm not trying to rush.
When's the last time you rode a bicycle, a pedaling bicycle?
It's been a day.
Okay. I mean,
Decades.
when's the last time that you didn't get your shoestring stuck in a bicycle pedal?
Decades.
Okay. On the movie, when he leaves the dance, and remember he just goes hightailing it out. Like
Yeah.
he's gone.
Does he rip his pants?
No. But he's just pedaling hard.
Yes.
Bro, you cannot watch this movie and they'll get on a bicycle and not try to like extra pedal. Like when they're doing qualifying for Hell Track, it's impossible to watch the qualifying racing and then not want to get on a bicycle and just start ripping something. I mean, and just shredding it. It's impossible. That's how motivating this movie is.
Did you go ride a bike after this movie was out?
No.
Okay. All right. So
No.
the thing is, during the race, during the second lap or whatever, he bends his wheel. It shows it bent.
Yeah.
So he can still ride it, but he makes sure to wobble it left and right to, I guess,
Oh, no, that's
pantomime that the
momentum.
wheel is bent.
No, it wasn't that the
No,
guy.
it shows
That was
the wheel bent, did it
that
not?
that was the other guy though. That was his buddy. That
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But how come he's always the hero is always cutting corners? They're all following the racetrack. He's moving outside the lines,
I mean, coming
outside
outside
the
the
flags
box.
and coming back in. He's cutting corners. That's cheating.
If anything, he took a longer route. If anything, it was a longer
No,
route.
he's
Ultimately,
outside of the lines.
He got pushed
He's
out.
like the really rottens in the Laugh Olympics. He's cheating.
Mongoose team. was pushing
Muggsy's
him
there
out.
by the whole time. That's what he should be doing the whole time. Yeah. There just wasn't that instant replay by Snagglepuss and Huckleberry Hound to say, wait a minute, fast backtrack even. There should have been some of that. But then, here's what happens.
man.
Of course, just like in Karate Kid, the sensei tears down Johnny. You're a loser. Okay? Now, that was Karate Kid 2, but that was originally filmed for the first movie, and they use it for the second. But in this one, the big corporation guy who's back in the Johnny goes, you'll never be anything, kid. You're off the team. You're not going to be anywhere. No one's backing you ever again. You hear me? You're done. You're finished. You're through. You ruined me. And so then he's all sad and he goes, hey, kid, or whatever the kid's name is, good race. Like Johnny says, you're all right, LaRusso.
Yeah.
But that's all that Johnny needs to say in Karate Kid. He doesn't need to say, hey, sorry,
Right.
everything. He just says, hey, I know we cheated. I know we tried our best to play dirty with you.
Yeah.
But you know what? You came up on top, and you're all right, LaRusso. That's all he has to say. It's perfect.
The twins on there. It depending on how you watch it. I'm watching it in the most recent time frame, as in like the last month ago.
I think we all saw it recently.
That's
Yes.
so good.
Okay,
Anyway,
so-
I don't. But the twins are not. They're trying to be cool with the dude. They're trying to be cool with Crew the whole time. Bart, I think the Johnny of the
Yeah.
of
Oh,
Rad.
Bart's
yeah.
his name. That's right.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is, like you said, at the very end, he comes up and he just he tries to be.
He says,
he's chill
hey,
at the
good
end.
racing.
Yeah.
You're good on the bike, dude. He's
And
like,
then the twins get
hey,
mad at him because
do you
he
think-
waited on him
No.
at the race. He waited on him.
But then, who's the star? What's his name?
Talking
Bike
about
Kid?
Crew? You talking
No,
about
what's his name? The star,
Crew.
the kid that we were cheering for. Crew?
Crew? Yeah.
Okay.
Jones.
Wow, how did I miss that name? Anyway,
not sure.
Crew Jones,
It rolls off the tongue, doesn't it?
son of Rocky,
Yeah. No
says,
question.
hey, gang, do you think we could add another member to Team Rad? And
Did
they
they have
go,
a team and
yeah. And so what does he do? Does he give him a high five? Does he shake his hand? Does he hug? No, he lifts over the boundary and hands the guy his bike. I don't know why he's handing him his bike, but then the guy reaches and they're both holding onto the bike together.
Yeah.
Freeze frame, fade to black, run the credits, and the dun 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 dun. You can do it.
yeah.
It's the '80s. You gotta keep pushing along, keep pushing the pedals, keep running the song, keep going the mile long. You gotta keep going on. instead of You Got the Touch, because that was taken
Yeah,
already. They
right.
tried to do their own little inspirational, and the only thing that it did have
One of the best soundtracks ever.
what was playing when they were dancing? That was a famous song. Was it Power of Love? What was
Send
it?
Me an Angel.
Send Me an Angel. I was like, what?
Yeah.
They actually
Come
got
on.
credit. They
Nobody
actually
even
got
heard of
credit
that
for
band
Send Me
before
an
that movie.
Angel.
Nobody even heard of the band before this movie.
Of course, when I'm on a BMX bike and I'm doing all these crazy bike moves, Send Me an Angel is the very first thing that I want playing over the speakers, because Guns N' Roses didn't exist back then.
It wouldn't have played right anyway. It wouldn't have played right. I mean, it just wouldn't.
Okay, so Wes, final thoughts about this movie. Thank you for staying silent.
No, look. Your
Hold on,
Your
give-
honest thoughts.
Yeah, he's gonna give his honest thoughts.
No holdbacks. Just give it, and also be very,
I was very surprised at how many people were there and that enjoyed it. Someone clapped when it was over.
That was you.
No, I didn't.
Was it the one clap and then everyone started clapping?
The place went down. It was just like
It was one person clapped.
Well, it felt like more than that.
Okay.
So I don't know if they were clapping.
So no
but
one
they could
followed
go
Brandon
home.
from clapping.
Dude, I legitimately was tearful. I mean, I got like runny eyed and everything. I loved it. Go ahead with your thoughts.
So I just was totally perplexed that that many people cared, and I felt like I didn't miss anything. I didn't miss anything.
You didn't
almost
feel
4
like you were
years.
cheated out of your childhood by not watching this when you were younger?
No,
now,
not at all.
Now, honest truth though,
I don't feel like that they made BMX look cool.
Are you crazy? Did you watch the movie?
Let me ask you a different question.
Yes.
because
You were
here's
brushing your hair and
my
beard.
brother and I were talking about this. We didn't see Goonies growing up. We saw Goonies later on in life. We both despise Goonies. We shouldn't, because I feel like if I'd have watched as a kid,
Yeah.
I'd have been like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Because it has your best friends, you find a treasure map, you find a secret treasure. Man, that stuff's awesome. But now watching it, because I'm not a kid anymore,
Sure.
I'm thinking, wow, this is garbage.
Yeah.
But we were thinking, would we have still thought it was garbage back then? We might have liked it back
I
then.
loved it, yeah.
So thinking back, young Wesley, 1986 Wesley, goes to the theater to watch Rad. Do you think young Wes likes it?
Are you
I
wearing
mean,
an
I
8 and a
think
quarter
that-
helmet or not?
I think that kids back then having a cool bicycle was
Yeah.
a cool thing, but that level of it
Dude, are you?
seemed just too preposterous.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
It's amazing that we grew up 7 miles from each other. It's like we were in different planets. It's
7 miles from each other?
or less.
Did you bike to see him?
No, I didn't.
Oh, well,
I had a Diamondback, bro. We didn't
There you
ride.
go.
We didn't go.
Not
92.
rad.
We didn't
Not
go 92.
rad, Brandon.
We didn't go.
That's
92.
not
Just
rad.
sad. It was just
Sad.
Oh, it was rad. And
No, it wasn't. Okay, so here's my thoughts.
All right. I would love to hear it.
I thought it was good. Okay?
I'll take
And
it.
here's why. It's a terrible movie.
Oh,
It's a terrible movie. But
It's a
it
mystery science theater.
It
movie.
was a bunch of bigwig Hollywood producers saying, "Hey, this Breakfast Club, this Pretty in Pink, this Karate Kid, they make money. Let's try to make something." And they got it all wrong. They had the base idea
true.
of BMX bikes because bikes are cool.
Yeah.
Every kid had a bike. This movie should have been the most relatable because. I don't know about you, but I was always on a bike at that age. Always. That was your main sense of transportation.
Absolutely.
We lived in a small town. We did bike all over town. Like in Stranger Things, when the very first season, the kids are
Yeah.
biking back home on the lawn bike. I said, I remember doing that, going over to someone's house, and then it wasn't at night. We had to get back before dinner. But you're biking, down a few more blocks or maybe a mile to get back to your house. That was just normal back then. And so that struck me. That really felt like, oh man, that's just a piece of my childhood right there. I could not connect to this, and even as a kid,
And after
you're
that-
thinking, who does this? But it's like it was a great idea. Just no one was there in the writing area, in the directorship,
Yeah.
or in the you needed a John Hughes or someone who could connect to today's youth, because it should have worked. It didn't, but at the same time, I'm happy I saw it because it has.
I'm smiling so
It's
big
someone
because of
trying
this.
they're trying to make this big hit, but they just missed the point on every level. Like even I'm so glad y'all pointed out the costumes because even the costumes, because there was something else that someone was wearing. I went, who wear? Oh,
Well,
every
twins
time the
with
girl
that
was wearing, the
oh,
twins.
oh, the super
girl's wearing
tight?
the super
Yeah.
jumpsuit thing.
I
I
appreciate
get
that.
it that she's a BMX biker, but you're not. She's always wearing stuff like that, except for that one scene where she's in a sweater and And Gene's could have said, no, you're going to jump into the water, so you don't want to wear the racetrack suit. That would not get you wet. And it wasn't like sexy wet either. It was like soaking wet.
I thought he also said Sexy West at first. Turns out it was
Or Sexy West.
Yeah.
That too.
Man, I'll tell you, I completely agree with you on a lot of that. But the writing was superb. I have to. I'm kidding. It was terrible. The idea was great. That's why we got to go in hard.
You saw this
right
as a
now
kid.
with the Rad 2, and as an adult, and as
Okay.
many times as possible.
I totally understand why you love it.
We should do Rad 2.
But no, there is a Rad 2.
No, we should.
Okay.
This
All right,
should happen.
Here's the deal.
Okay.
Thank you. Honestly, thank you. I'm glad I watched it because it got me watching other 80s movies that couldn't get the formula right, too, because I did enjoy it for that reason. Like, wow, here's a movie just trying to pretend to be 80s. It made in the 80s, but it was done with a bunch of people who had no idea what the 80s were. They could not nail the time. It felt like it was 15 years old.
It reminded me of like if this was a sequel to the first Rad, where they took some fragments of the movie and said, "We'll just make another one."
Yeah.
Because this shit, like you said, it had the framework to do it, but man, a lot of misses.
Yeah.
But for the occasional hit, they were home runs.
But I'll be honest, about half the time I was sitting here going like this, I was like, what?
That's
It was just like that. It was a laughing what? Because I was like, this is bonkers nuts. What is going on?
Man, we
It
had
is
ramps
crazy.
set up everywhere. On the neighborhood we grew up in, Briarcliff, right behind it, we had ramps in all back in those woods. Man, we would shred through there all the time. I mean, it was just like our little qualifying round.
Shred.
So anyway, as you're shredding,
Rip.
so
Whatever.
folks, watch Rad. I don't know where you can get it, but watch it. If you're an 80s person and you've never seen it, watch it. Just know, in my opinion, it's not good. Maybe you're like Brandon and you'll really love it, but it does smack of someone really desperately trying to get that winning formula and missing the point. But it's good enough to where you're going, what is going on?
The characters, what makes it. One thing, can I say one quick thing?
You can say as much as you want
Okay.
now. You go ahead and
Really?
lead us out.
Man. Add some memory to the computer. We're about to go long on this one. I'm totally kidding about it. But my favorite thing you said, what I got so tickled. You went, man, like these people, like the mayor, the business guy, all the characters. You were like, they're not much older than us, like currently. And look how old these people look, man. I was like, hey, that's a great point. They looked.
Yeah.
They were
looked
dressed.
old.
They were dressed to look as old as possible.
There's no doubt in my mind that we are all older than Adrian was in that movie.
Oh yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
She was 30-something probably in that movie, and she looks older.
Well,
Everyone looks older.
I would say
Yeah.
like the inner city. What do you recall them? The commerce people were they were dressed so terrible. It was very footloose feeling to me.
Yeah. It was very dated.
So that's all.
All right.
very footloose. I agree.
All right.
Wholesome
Anyway,
entertainment.
there you go. So go check out Rad.
Absolutely.
Make a
Brandon, you
drinking
want to
game out
stutter
of it.
anything else out of your mouth?
No, I don't think so.
All right. Well, that's
Thank
it.
you for talking about
Wada,
it.
wada, wada, wada. That's all, folks.
We'll see you next time on Princes of the Universe.